What's going on, everyone? By now, I'm sure you've heard the news that Bradley Beal was traded to the Phoenix Suns for an entire Reese's bar as well as a Dr. Pepper. And Bradley Beal will now create a big three with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. I don't really understand this. It doesn't really make sense to me, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about the Washington Wizards being the first sign of their rebuild. They wanted to clear Bradley Beal's contract, which is what I was saying the moment that the Bradley Beal trade was announced, and why I thought the Lakers had a real chance to get a guy like Bradley Beal. No, a lot of people didn't want him, but it was more so of like, hey, this is a star. The Lakers like other stars. They want a third star based on countless reports. And Bradley Beal is a star that they could get for peanuts because the Wizards just want to unload his contract. That's essentially what wants to happen. Bradley Beal went to the Phoenix Suns because his agent has a son who is the CEO of the Phoenix Suns. That's basically what was at play here. And Bradley Beal having a no-trade clause, he was able to kind of force his way to the Phoenix Suns. But Washington is going to continue to rebuild and kind of clear as much cap space as possible, accumulate as many assets as possible, and start trying to build maybe a potential contender one day, right? Well, eventually they'll get there, you'd imagine. But regardless, you have several players that many teams would be interested in when it comes to the Washington Wizards. And one of those players is Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma is also expected to decline his $13 million player option with the Wizards and become an unrestricted free agent this offseason. Potential suitors for Kuzma could include the Pacers, Rockets, Spurs, Kings, and Jazz. A reunion with the Lakers is also a looming possibility. So Kyle Kuzma obviously would be a great addition to many teams. Sizable, defensive 3-and-D style wing. That's what every team in the league wants. He's got good size, can defend, can hit some shots, score the ball, shoot the ball, do a lot of things. He grew a lot on the Washington Wizards and was kind of the guy carrying them through pretty much the majority of the season. And so any team that could add a guy of his caliber to their roster is immediately going to improve and going to be better. The problem is that there is going to be a bidding war, very likely, for Kyle Kuzma, and the Lakers potentially trying to acquire Kyle Kuzma is very difficult. Essentially, the only way that realistically the Lakers could acquire Kyle Kuzma is if they worked out a sign and trade, which that would hard cap them, so I don't see that happening, or he ends up opting into his contract, the $13 million, instead of opting out of his contract. Then the Lakers could easily trade for him, right? I mean, the Lakers could trade for him and several other pieces and really make a push, make a move if, say, Kyle Kuzma was like, hey, I want to go to the Lakers. But that's the key. Does Kyle Kuzma want to go to the Lakers? Does he want to return back to the Lakers? That is an iffy question, right? He loved being in LA. He loved being on the Lakers. There's no doubt about that. That was something he loved. But he felt a little scorned by the fact that they traded him. Also, he didn't really like being the third, fourth, fifth guy on the Lakers, which if he goes back to the Lakers, that's very likely what's going to happen again. He's going to end up being the third, fourth, fifth guy on the Lakers. Now, he would be an upgrade on pretty much all of our wings. I still really like Rui Hachimura and still think he has a lot of potential. But Kyle Kuzma at the 3 spot, where he would likely start, he would come in, he would be the starter, kind of round out the roster. Whatever they do with D'Angelo Russell, if they end up trading him or they end up keeping him, very likely you would have D'Angelo Russell, you would have Austin Reeves, Kyle Kuzma, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis to kind of round out your starting 5. That's got a good balance. You got some defense, you got some shooting, you got a little bit of everything. You got some good size on both wing spots, and then Anthony Davis manning in the middle. Also, it would be kind of funny, Kyle Kuzma and then D'Angelo Russell, kind of the old school Lakers before they kind of grew up. But Kyle Kuzma is an excellent and much needed player. Like, the Lakers could desperately use a guy like Kyle Kuzma. That would be great. The problem is again, does Kyle Kuzma want to return to the Lakers to go be the third, fourth, fifth guy? Now, granted, him going to the Lakers this time, he'd only have to really ride it out for probably a year, maybe 2, right? He just would have to kind of ride it out as long as LeBron is on the Lakers. Once LeBron leaves, then he could kind of step in and maybe kind of get a bigger role and kind of be the 1A, 1B with and Anthony Davis, assuming he continues to improve. He's not your best player on a championship team. He's not even your second best player on a championship team. He really is a third, fourth option on a legit contender, depending on who your other two guys are. But realistically, Kyle Kuzma, would he be willing to come back and accept that role? And would the Lakers be willing to give him a bigger role, right? The circumstances for the Lakers is far different than before, right? You had a lot of veteran guys. You had just a different roster, a different makeup. You had a younger LeBron, a younger Anthony Davis. You were trying to contend and compete for an NBA championship. Kyle Kuzma was not the player he is now that he's kind of evolved into. So his role could very well be expanded this time with the Lakers. The Lakers could incentivize him and say, hey, you got to opt in this year. We can give you a better contract next year, and you could stay with the Lakers long term. We'd love to have you back. We'd love to bring you back. You'd start. We'll give you an expanded role now because LeBron is older and he wants to play more off the ball and he doesn't want to have to, play heavy minutes night in and night out, and we could use the added depth. And with you, Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, really would round out our front court rotation, and that would be massive, right? And you could be a guy that could get, 15 shots a game and get some just, hey, here's the ball, go to work type thing. And you could play the power forward, you could play the small forward position and really kind of round out this Lakers roster. I do think in that regard, Kyle Kuzma may be interested in potentially coming back to Lakers. Time has kind of passed since the trade where, maybe he kind of can look back and go, okay, don't do that again type thing, right? But it also comes down to how much money does Kyle Kuzma want? Because Kyle Kuzma wants to get paid. And so you have teams like the Houston Rockets. Houston, we can't outbid Houston financially. Right? So if Houston says hey, we'll give you a max contract if you come to us, then there goes any opportunity for us. It's going to come down to what does Kyle Kuzma want? Does he want to be in LA and contend for NBA championships for at least the next 2 years? And then they kind of retool and build around him and some of the other young guys? Or does he want to get the payday and get the huge payday? Now, he's not going to be able to get the huge payday right now, but the Lakers could, because if they did trade back for him, then they would get his bird right, so they could go over the cap again to pay him and once his contract is up. But again, it takes Kyle Kuzma working with the Lakers and being willing to kind of bite the bullet for a year and get that and then, go the other approach. Now, what is his market in the open market? Will a team like Houston overpay for him? Because he's not a $25 million a year guy, at least not right now. Maybe he gets there, but right now he is probably a $18 to $20 million a year guy, just based on his skill set, the demand for players of his caliber, things like that. So he will get paid. So $13 million isn't that far off from what he may get elsewhere, but again, what is he looking for? That's the big factor. What is Kyle Kuzma looking for? If Kyle Kuzma opts in, I would love to see a scenario where the Lakers acquire Gafford and Kyle Kuzma, right? Maybe even Monty Morris. Could you get Morris, Gafford, and Kyle Kuzma? I think that would really round out the roster nice because that would give you another center, a young that still you could build with, develop, grow. He's a little more of a stable center than a Mo Bamba is. Mo Bamba's kind of more of a project. Gafford could really kind of round out that. You could have Kyle Kuzma in the starting spot, so you could round out your front court with Kuzma, Anthony Davis, LeBron James. You'd still have Rui Hachimura, Gafford, and Jared Vanderbilt as the next three in that front court. I think that is just a beautiful front court. One of, if not the best in the entire league as far as 6 guys stabilizing that rotation there. And then you have, D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Max Christie. Hopefully you can take the next step. Maybe you bring back a Dennis Schroeder or a Lonnie Walker. Maybe you could go make another move depending on what you could get Kyle Kuzma for. Could the Lakers trade Malik Beasley, Mo Bamba, and the 17th pick? Maybe even, I wouldn't even mind the 47th pick, especially if you could get Gafford for Kyle Kuzma, say Gafford. And if you could get Monty Morris, that'd be great. If not, then then it's fine. I'm okay with Kuzma and Gafford. Like, if you could just do a 2-for-2 swap, then you get your sizable 3-and-D wing, which we need. You get another center that kind of is a bit of an upgrade over Mo Bamba. I think Mo Bamba has more potential if he could find his game, but Gafford, I think, kind of gives more of what the Lakers need right now. So you could do something like that, and then maybe you could flip D'Lo at that point for another piece or something, right? Maybe you could take the 2029 pick, D'Lo, and maybe like a Shaquille Harrison, and go get another like piece or two. That could be something, but I don't know. I wouldn't hate it if it happens, but those are my thoughts and opinions. And as always, I pass the question on to you. Let me know yours down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think, Lakers go get Kyle Kuzma, go get a Gafford, whatever. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. Let me